questions we wrestle with as Christians about who God is, how do we live out our faith, what is the Bible, what is the truth of the Bible, what are we supposed to believe, how are we supposed to live. There are really big, deep questions that we ask each other, that we ask God, that we wrestle with ourselves. And that's why the Cultivate podcast exists, to help us go deeper in our understanding of who God is, His Word, and the way that He's called us to live. Hey everyone, welcome to the Cultivate podcast with the Grove Church. I'm Charlie Loften, I'm the pastor there, and we are joined by, as always,
Bagel
Boone.
The one you love.
So you take off the first part, it's bagel. If you take off the second part, it's what your niece calls you.
Abba. Yes. So I was trying to take off "ul" from that, and I was like,
Abba.
Bag? Big?
A bag. A bag.
A bag? Yeah.
No,
nah.
it's not a bag. Abba. Right?
Abba.
Abigail Boone, podcast director, producer,
Yeah.
creative director,
Yes. That for sure.
dominator of things, in general,
Woohoo. Yeah.
entrepreneur,
Kind of, yeah.
young business owner.
Yes.
God,
Sadly.
Sadly.
It's a lot.
It is a lot.
It is not for the faint of heart.
Indeed. And we are now, can you say, I don't want to say in the middle, we're well into.
Surely we're not in the middle. You
No,
said there's a lot of them.
There's a lot. This is going to
Okay.
be probably by the time we do Q&As, it'll be well over 20.
Okay.
We've done 3 episodes on the parables. We did an intro just in general, and then we've done 2, the parable of the sower, the parable of the weeds. And so we are now staying in Matthew chapter 13, where there's just a whole bunch of them in a row, 2 of which were the first 2 we've done were explained by Jesus.
And they're agrarian.
One of these will also be agrarian.
Oh, cool.
But these now we're going to be on our own from here on out.
Okay. I listened to a podcast
We're
the
not
other
explaining them
day
anymore.
where someone said agrarian. And it really bothered me that I couldn't speak to the podcast and be like, hey, that was wrong.
This has nothing to do with what we're talking about, but one of the things that I have just gotten better at is allowing people to mispronounce words in front of me.
Thank you.
And I'm just
Because I'm
like,
sure I do it all the time.
Okay. Unless I legitimately can't
Understand.
I really don't know what you're trying to say, or if it was just so funny.
Yeah, that's fair.
But if you're just out there saying agrarian, I'd be like,
that's like not the word at all.
in the context of, we're talking about
you could
farming.
piece it together,
if we're talking about farming and you say that, and then every now and then, depending on how well I know a person, like once the conversation kind of comes to a close, I'll be
You'll come back to it.
Abigail, would you like to know how to pronounce that word?
That's kind. After you get to the story, though.
Right, I'll let you get through. It's like,
yeah,
it's probably, it didn't matter to me, but there may be a context in which it will matter.
Yeah.
It is important that you say
get it
agrarian.
Right. Yes. See, my number one, maybe not number one, but it's pretty high up there. My pet peeves is when someone says a whole nother. It's not another.
I love it.
That is not a word.
Another.
Whole other.
Whole nother. It's like the reverse of a contraction. Instead of putting apostrophe, we're putting in a different word.
Knock it on the next one.
We're going to have another. What? Nope. Spread that out. Put another word. A whole nother.
Yeah, it drives me nuts. It's hard for me to pay attention to the rest of the sentence because I can't get over that you just said a whole nother.
That's great. It's one of my favorites.
It really bothers me.
There's this moment. I don't know if my mom listens to this podcast or not, but I grew up in Southern Arkansas, right?
Yeah.
And so I was heading out the door, and I was like, "Mom, I'm finna go see my friends."
Fit to go.
and Mom goes, "Do not say finda. It's fixing to."
Yes.
And I stopped in my tracks on the back door, and I said, "Mom, if we're going to correct one another's grammar, fixing to is not any better."
No, I'm about to go.
I am about to go. If we're going to be correcting each other, let's correct each other.
She just doesn't want you to be lazy with your enunciation of it all.
Right. Take our Southern jargon and say it correctly.
Yeah. Anyways. No, it's
parables. Matthew chapter 13. We're no longer, we're on our own with the interpretations. And like I said last episode, these ones are very short.
Okay.
And
we'll see how long
let's
we
keep
can
it
go.
in mind. Let's keep in mind. We'll review where we were last week. Kingdom. Jesus talking about the kingdom.
Mhm.
I'm not a conquering hero.
Right.
The kingdom is something very different than that.
Mhm.
All right. We got that in our front of our brain. We don't know what it is yet.
Yeah.
We do, because we're 2,000 years in the future.
Yeah.
But they don't. And he's still explaining it. Matthew 13, starting in verse 31. He told them another parable. The kingdom of heaven is like a mustard seed, which a man took and planted in his field. Though it is the smallest of all seeds, yet when it grows, it is the largest of garden plants and becomes a tree, so that the birds can come and perch in its branches. He told them still another parable. The kingdom of heaven is like yeast that a woman took and mixed into about 60 pounds of flour until it worked all through the dough.
Okay. Last episode, you said it said the same thing twice. I was literally imagining it saying, like,
literally the same thing twice.
Yeah, and I was like, why would he do that?
The same idea, the same exact idea in the parable.
As if Matthew was recording history and Jesus said it, but nobody heard it, so he said it again, and so Matthew recorded it twice.
No, not exactly like that, but more like, hey, there's this guy.
Two versions of the same thing.
And he gave his kid $5. And then the next one, like, let me tell you another one. It's like this dad, and he gave his daughter a pony. I mean, it's
pony.
It's the same basic idea.
Yeah,
repeated in two different illustrations. So, what do the two stories have in common? Stories is a stretch, but what do the two stories have in common between the two of them? The mustard seed one and the leaven.
Growth.
We're taking something
that's
putting it somewhere, and
it
gets big. A seed turns into a giant plant.
Yeah.
And a small bit of leaven. Do we know? Okay.
No.
Do we know what leaven is?
I was just about to say, I know that a mustard seed is small, but I don't know of.
What if I said yeast?
That's what mine says.
Yours says.
Yeah, the kingdom of heaven is like yeast that a woman took and mixed into about 60 pounds.
Yeah, it is.
I still don't know what yeast is. So.
It is.
I've heard of it.
It is the thing that makes your bread turn into dough that rises.
Okay.
Without it, it would be like the flat crackers, like you have in communion.
Okay.
So in Old Testament, New Testament, they talk about unleavened and leavened bread. They're talking about bread that has yeast in it, so it rises and tastes like bread, or that doesn't have yeast in it, is really thin, is like a cracker.
Okay.
So the idea is here, if you take a little bit of yeast and put it into your mixture,
right,
it will make a little bit of it will make lots of bread. You don't need a whole lot of yeast to turn this into big thing of bread. Just a little bit. You knead it. You put it all in there, and next thing you got dough, and you let it rise. Now you got big loaves of bread.
Okay.
Same deal with this seed. Take a little bit of seed. You plant this one little seed. You put it in there. It's going to turn into a big old thing.
So, quick side story.
I said big old. Was that a problem? It's not big old. It's big old.
Big old.
Old. Yeah. Charlie.
So when I was a kid, this made my mom so mad, but the school sent us home with a tree to plant. She was like, why would they do this?
Why would they do that? I have no problem with you or with your mom. The villain in that story is the school.
That's what she thinks. And so I brought home that tree, and for the afternoon, nothing really happened with it. But then a surprise was supposed to happen. And so to distract me, my mom was like, I guess we'll plant the tree. It's one of the biggest trees on it's the Jonesboro home. It's huge.
It still exists.
Yes. It's huge.
Wow.
And I never even, I think for a little while, I thought I would go out there and tend to it. But then it just grew on its own.
It didn't need
me.
You. The only thing worse than that is you send your kid to a birthday party and the party favor is a goldfish.
Yeah.
Like
my sister killed my fish.
You have kids? Why would you do this to other parents?
Exactly.
Do you not want your kids to have friends? Do you not want us to be your friend? Anyways. Okay, so what we know for sure is...
So I kind of did that, though.
You did? You gave us a fish?
No. I planted something and it became huge.
It did? Oh,
I have experience with this parable.
Yeah, and so that's what we have. Something small becoming something big.
Right.
Okay, there's more here for us to discover, but let's just start right there. So the kingdom of heaven is like something small that once it kind of takes root in the place, whether it be in the bread or in the ground, once it really takes root, it becomes something big. Based on what we know about people's expectation of the kingdom and what Jesus said the kingdom is, what are we learning here about the kingdom that might be different than what the Jewish people would have thought hearing from Jesus?
I have two thoughts.
Okay.
One, and maybe I shouldn't be cross-referencing here, but one, from the first parable, it was generous and spread out wide, which maybe they didn't expect it would be spread out wide. And then two, I would assume with the kingdom takeover, they thought it would be rapid and boom, but growth takes a long time.
Yeah, that it would be the kind of thing that like an army comes in and takes over is not the same as
multiplication.
Something small happening and it having to unfold over time.
Yeah.
It's something that starts small and becomes big as opposed to
starting big.
And so you can still be at this point revolutionary. You could even still be violent, I guess, if you wanted to. But we're talking about a slow building revolution rather than a big act of war that's going to be big from the very beginning. And then whatever this is, it is going to start very small and over time is going to become something big.
That feels like takes too long.
Yeah, so that's different. So we're already at different. Okay. The other thing about both of these things that you need to know
was the first one I said right?
Yeah, that was really good.
Okay, cool.
That was really good. The other thing that we need to know to really kind of get at this is, what is a mustard seed? Is it the kind of thing that you would want to plant in your garden?
I don't even know what it produces.
It produces giant weeds.
Oh,
it's
really?
a giant, awful weed that you would not ever plant it. A man went into his garden and planted a dandelion seed.
Okay.
And now his garden is full of dandelions.
Yeah.
Is that a good story or a bad story?
No.
It's a bad story. Okay. And if you also think about when you add yeast to it, it moves from unleavened bread, like you take at communion or at Passover, right? And what it turns Passover bread into non-Passover bread.
Do I celebrate Passover?
No, I'm just saying they didn't have the Lord's Supper and communion yet at this time.
Oh, okay.
Right? And so when we're celebrating Passover, it was very important
that you would have
unleavened bread, the flat cracker stuff, which is why we do that for communion, because it was them celebrating Passover, Jesus and his disciples, right? Okay. And so to take yeast and put it into bread, again, if you're just trying to have bread, it's not that big a deal, but because for certain rituals, unleavened bread was what you needed to do, adding leaven to something, adding yeast to something, ultimately becomes a metaphor for adding something bad, a corrupting influence. You're corrupting that bread. You're turning it from what we need for this festival to something that is completely unusable.
Okay.
And so it just kind of becomes shorthand for a corrupting influence.
And
so if you read the Gospels,
unleavened bread a lot of the time, but they only need leavened bread some.
Well, the leavened bread was just considered more sacred, more special, set apart.
Okay.
It was for holy purposes, and then bread is just bread.
Okay.
And so you would think, oh, it's moving me from this cracker that gets really mealy to like what I really can put some butter on and I love, right? You're doing a good thing by turning it into this.
Yeah.
That is not
what they would
That
think.
was not their implication.
Okay. That's
because
helpful.
if you go through the Gospels, you'll even see Jesus use this metaphor saying, beware of the leaven of the Pharisees.
Okay.
And uses it as a shorthand word for a corrupting influence.
Okay.
Don't listen to what they have to say. It will get in you and turn you into something unholy.
Gotcha.
So I'm taking holy bread and turning it into common bread.
Wait, leaven and yeast are the same thing?
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm putting something into something that is holy and turning it unholy, making it common.
Okay.
Special to regular, and regular is not good in this sense, right?
Yeah.
And so both of these ideas, you wouldn't want it to happen.
Surely.
So the kingdom of God is like planting a weed in your garden, or it is like corrupting holy bread and turning it into regular bread.
Surely that was a turn off.
So what does he mean by that?
Well, like surely they'd hear that and be like,
The kingdom of God is like these two really terrible things happening.
Yeah.
So it's at a minimum, it's a record scratch.
Yeah.
Wait, it's like what?
Yeah.
The kingdom of God is like a drug dealer coming into your school and passing out free samples, and next thing you know, everybody's hooked.
Yeah.
Yay?
Yeah.
Right? I mean that's a times a million on the extremity level.
Right.
But it's the same basic idea. You've got something that's perfectly fine. You put something in it you don't want, and it spreads everywhere, and now you've got a problem. The kingdom of God is like that.
I'm very interested of how you're going to say this is what he means by this. Because the kingdom of God is good.
Compared to what?
The world, like the secular world.
Okay. How does the world view it?
Boring, annoying.
Good?
No.
Man, what this world needs is just a little more Jesus everywhere. If we could just have more Jesus out there.
They don't think that, yeah.
Did the Pharisees think that?
Yes. No?
That's what whatever it is Jesus is bringing, it is going to be good.
Gotcha. Okay. No, they did not think that.
So it is going to be something that you think is good, that is you think is going to be fine. It's going to get in there, and it is going to be unbelievably infectious.
That's a good spin on it.
Well, it's not a good spin on it. It is going to depending on what it is you want. It is going to feel to the world. Again, now we're back to revolutionary again.
Mm-hmm.
It is going to feel revolutionary.
Okay.
We are going to take something that you think is perfectly fine, and it is going to overwhelm it.
Because that would be the case for a mustard seed. That'd be like overwhelming weeds.
Yeah, like planting a dandelion in your garden.
It's going to be everywhere.
Right. That's it. I now have a dandelion garden. There's nothing else in there.
Yeah.
Or, we used to have this in our garden. My dad used to have this garden, and he had rows of this, rows of this, rows of this, rows of this. And one year he decided to plant strawberries. Oh. And I only know this because I saw it happen.
It killed everything.
And about 3 years, all we had was a strawberry garden.
Yeah.
Which was great. Strawberries were great.
No complaints.
Fewer of ever. Oh no, not the vegetables. Bring back the cucumbers, Dad.
Right.
I know. I'll eat strawberries all day. I don't want your cucumbers, right? Mm-hmm. But it's the same idea. It's one of these things that just kind of it took over the whole whole thing. And that's a good thing or a bad thing, depending on your perspective. From my perspective, it was a great thing. It conquered the vegetables.
What did your dad think?
He eventually my dad's a pretty passive guy when it comes to stuff like that. He's like, oh, okay, well, I guess we have a strawberry plant. And he would, and it he made it into a good thing. Like he would invite friends over. It's like, we got more strawberries than any normal family can eat. And friends would come over and
so pick who's listening to Jesus in this moment? Like, what does the crowd demographic look like? It's going to be a broad range of people from his disciples. There were always Pharisees stalking him to people who are just learning about him. Okay.
And so everybody, for our purposes, everybody's hearing it. But the thing that he says, if you've got ears to hear what I'm saying.
But is it like all Jews?
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. And people are hearing this guy with varying degrees of interest of like, that's weird. Yeah. And not even think about it again. And other people are like, what's he saying?
Right.
And other people are like,
because he does specifically say the kingdom of heaven is like. Mm-hmm. That's not something that Matthew added. Jesus said the kingdom of heaven. Like he's directly comparing this to the kingdom that they think they're looking forward to in a certain way.
It is going to be an infectious.
It's kind of like The Last of Us.
any number of zombie themed movies. A zombie comes in, bites one guy, and next thing you know, there's zombies everywhere, right? I mean,
But it's not wrong for this listener that's thousands of, like you've said, has this perspective from all of the stuff that's happened and all of that, whatever. That sounds like an awesome thing, even though it's a weird example of it. That it would become an infectious.
It depends on what you view. It is an upender of the status quo.
Right.
We are not building on the status quo.
Mm-hmm.
Are we not coming in huge.
Mm-hmm.
It is going to be small, but it is also going to be subversive.
Mm-hmm.
And it is going to be an upender of the status quo.
Yeah.
It's not going to come in and be like, Pharisees, you guys are great. And you guys are great. And you guys are great. And thanks for all that you've done. And we're going to come in right behind you. And we're going to kind of build on top of it. Great job, everybody.
Yeah.
We're going to come in and we're going to infect everything until everything that you think is good has been
turned
undone.
into.
We're turning it all upside down.
Mm-hmm.
So whether or not revolution is a good idea depends on what seat you sit in.
Yeah.
A powerless person hears revolution and thinks yes. A person in power hears it and thinks, oh no.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right. And so there is revolutionary talk here.
Okay.
And so at the same time, there's a bit of both. It's not going to be what you think, but it is also, that does not mean that it is going to be comfortable.
Yeah.
It is not going to be conquering army, but it is also going to be revolutionary in its way.
Yeah.
And so that we're starting to put those sorts of pieces together. And so to ask an Abigail kind of question. So what do you think they took from this when they heard it?
I was just about to say that.
Yeah, why don't you go ahead and say it? We'll pretend I didn't.
Because I have two of those questions. Well, how do you think they responded to it whenever... Like, I just feel like this is such a polarizing one.
Right. And so
having the context of how bad those two things could be once they get into it.
I think most people probably heard that the way that we hear things. And this happens to me all the time. I get up, I give a sermon, a talk or whatever, and have what I think is a very clear point. And people come up to me and say, thank you for that message. And then they tell me what they took away from it. And I was like,
You're like, what?
I didn't say that. I can see where you got that from what you're saying. Or I say A, but if A is true, also B. And you really like A, and you come in, man, I really love that you had a lot to say about A. That was so good. Thank you so much. And I'm like, did you hear B?
Right.
But somebody else comes in and is like,
B was awesome.
Did you hear? So I would imagine that people walked away from that. A decent amount of people walked away from that going, yeah, revolution. Okay.
Yeah.
And other people were like,
oh man,
this guy's nobody. I don't want this. You know, I'm sure the powerful people walked away from that only negative. The people that wanted Jesus to upend everything they probably heard what they wanted to hear. So I would imagine there was probably a lot of confirmation bias.
Okay.
In this one.
Yeah.
You heard what you wanted to hear.
Yeah.
If you were negative about Jesus, you more so.
Yeah.
If you thought he was a revolutionary, then he gave you some confirmation for that. If you like Jesus and you're starting to buy into what he's saying, maybe you heard something different.
Yeah.
But I would imagine that this was either off-putting, confusing, or just confirmation bias for people.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean by confirmation bias? Okay.
Yeah. So with the side of, and you can correct me if this isn't even supposed to be the main part of it, but it's starting small and then slowly growing into something big. I feel like that's the history of God's people.
Yeah.
Would have they been able to connect that, or would have they been like confused why that would be the strategic plan that God would set in motion?
They would have definitely been confused. There's already millions of us.
Okay.
Put swords in our hand and let's go get it. Let's go get it done. If you put the swords in our hand and God is with us, we can wipe these people out in a day. That's what I know. I know that God raises up floods and parts rivers and does all sorts of things. And so let's just do it. It's like, no, but it's going to be kind of a slow organic process that
Yeah.
kind of slowly takes things over again. And then you see it. I mean, Jesus was perfectly content with his 12 guys, his 50 to 60 followers. When there were large crowds, he was suspicious.
I always felt like he slipped away from them.
Yeah, he's
secretly.
suspicious of large crowds. When people are like, man, if you did more of these miracles, lots of people would come. It's like,
Right.
that's actually why I don't do it. I'm not trying to build some big, large thing full of hype. I'm trying to get it out there bit by bit. So this is how the kingdom is going to spread. It is going to start with a small number, it taking deep root in a few people. And then once it does spread, it's going to be huge. And that is exactly.
But then by that time it's infected.
And that's how the book of Acts plays out.
Right.
You know, it took deep root when the Holy Spirit comes on the 70-ish people that were there that day. And 24 hours later, there's 3,000. And a year later, there's tens of thousands.
Right.
You know, so it has that sort of effect. And so it is not about large amounts of hype. It is about it taking deep root in you and it's spreading.
So I guess that does make sense. And you've said this multiple times, but I've not really visualized it. But at Pentecost or one of those later things, and it was kind of confirmed who he was by him raising from the dead, all of that stuff, then they maybe would have retroactively looked back and be like, okay, so what did he really mean when he was saying the kingdom of heaven is like?
Yeah, I would imagine that there was a lot that is probably one of the reasons why the disciples started writing all of this down. And then with hindsight, they're like,
that's really important.
Oh,
yeah.
Was there all along. He was telling us if we had ears, we could have heard. But at the time, we didn't have ears.
Do you think he ever was annoyed?
Do I think Jesus was ever annoyed?
Like,
absolutely. Just your assignment now is to spend the next few weeks reading through the Gospels and to make a list of me all the times where it seems pretty clear that Jesus was annoyed.
But like a frustrated teacher or like in a God kind of way? It's where it's not really that bad annoyed.
No, and like what is wrong with you? Like, do I got to say this again?
Yeah.
Yeah. Read the Gospels with that in mind. Make a list.
Okay.
Don't cheat and ask ChatGPT.
I won't.
Thinking about it.
No, I'm actually reading the Gospels now.
We did it, Bagel. We created a 30-minute podcast episode out of just
2 verses.
2 small ideas. One idea said twice.
But this is the case. Earlier, you're saying it's not necessarily like he was sitting there saying one after another, but in this case, he was.
Yeah, I would imagine those 2 things were said sequentially.
Okay.
But even if not, again, they were added sequentially together like that to emphasize it.
Yeah.
And maybe Matthew was like, wait, he said that already, but it was about a mustard seed. Let's put that together when we put it here. So we're gonna finish up kind of this little round. We're going to be in Matthew chapter 13, and again, a little bit longer, but again, 2 different parables that essentially make the same point.
Okay.
That are they really go together. So we'll do that. So I encourage you to join us for that. Thank you for joining us here. And as always, thank you for joining us.
Of course.
Thank you for being awesome, asking great questions as always. And you can find out more about our church at thegrovechurch.org/connect. We would love to see you on a Sunday, either online or in person. And we would love to hear from you. If you have questions, if you have any sort of topics you'd like for us to cover, we would love to hear from you in any way possible. And you can find out all that stuff for us there on the internet. So as always, thank you for joining us and hope to see you next time. Thank you for listening to the Cultivate podcast. Our hope is that you are taking steps to go deeper in your faith, that you are asking big questions and you're looking for answers. We hope that we can be a resource for you through our podcast and any other way that we can help you. You can find all our episodes anywhere that you can find podcasts, including YouTube. And again, thank you so much for joining us.